Claudius was born 10 BC, August 1st, to his father Drusus and his mother Antonina Minor. Her mother's line was close to Mark Antony and the Anton clan. His father Drusus was an adopted son of Augustus until he died. He was part of the Julio-Claudian dynasty, but was born with a disability that gave him a drool and a limp. This gave him much problems in his life, and his own mother would reject him. He was kind of outcast of the Julio-Claudian dynasty, and it was really hard for him, because even though he was noble, he was basically like a peasant to them, and he was less than nothing, because they were really a macho man society where you had to be like the best of the best, the fit of the fittest, to even be eligible. Now, most emperors were not the best of the best. Many were overweight, etc., but they made themselves look like they were 20 years old, had abs, and was the peak of Romanness. This would be the Julio-Claudian, the Nerva Antoine, the Flavians. All emperors would do this to give themselves the best appearance possible to the Roman people. And his unableness to be like a consul or any office, he became a historian, where he would write histories of the Etruscans and etc., and would be a philosopher and a historian. He was also tutored by Livy, one great thing that their parents did for him, because he was soon became great historian. In 14 AD, when Augustus died, Tiberius came and was pretty brutal, but left him alone relatively. In 37 AD, his nephew Caligula came to the throne because he had a better claim. He often toyed with his uncle in his brutal and sadistic ways, making him more of a court jester. Although he executed many people, he left Caligula alone, not because he liked him or anything, but because he was seen as not a threat, and a jester basically in Caligula's twisted games, where he was often toyed with, bullied, although he did give him a consulship, but it's probably just to make fun of the Senate and not due to his love of his uncle, as he was quite mean to his uncle. But in 41 AD, his Caligula was assassinated by the Praetorian Guard while Claudius was in the palace. Because the Senate was already trying to restore the Republic, the Praetorian Guard knew that their jobs were in danger, because their whole paycheck was reliant on the imperial system, and the only one they could find was Claudius. He was apparently hiding in a curtain, thinking that they were going to kill him, but whenever they kneeled down and proclaimed him emperor, he was shocked. He was humble, and he never got anything like this in his entire life, because he was outcasted by the Julio-Claudians, and this was a great shock to him. And so he was proclaimed by the Praetorian Guard in 41 AD, becoming the fourth emperor of the Roman Empire. And so basically, the Senate was plotting against him, and was not a stable start. But one of his first actions as the fourth Roman emperor was the annexation of Lycia. And this was a long Roman, basically vassal state, but it was never officially into the Roman Empire. But due to high banditry, it was officially got brought into the empire, and this was just a nice cap on his reign. Another thing he did was putting down a revolt in Mauritania due to the instability left by Caligula's reign and his annexation. Basically, when he annexed it, there was still a crap ton of stability, so he put down the revolt, bringing back stability to North Africa, which was really good. And also, one of the first problems of his reign was putting down a revolt in Illyria, or what would become Dalmatia. And he did this, but he didn't really have to do it, because his soldiers, the revolting person, the governor of Illyria, had his soldiers mutiny, and they basically just killed the guy, so they didn't have to worry about it. But this was a great shock to Claudius, and it was a pleasant surprise that the soldiers revolted against him, and he had to execute over 300 senators during his reign because so many plotted against him. A person that was exiled under Tiberius' reign, Agrippina the Younger, was brought back into the fold where she would marry somebody else. This was the niece of Claudius and the mother of the future emperor Nero, who would reign from 54 to 69, and would be a pretty mediocre emperor. And due to the instability of his early reign, one of the first things that he did was plotting a adventure to Britannia. This is something that even Julius Caesar could not do. He could not conquer it because it was just too hard for him. And he thought, okay, if I can do something that Caesar can't, then all the people will respect me. Now, the Senate would never respect him, but he definitely gained a lot of support from the people and especially the army, which was key due to the Praetorian Guard getting a massive ego boost since they assassinated an emperor. He also executed the lead conspirator, the person who executed Caligula. This would not be a process that just followed in his reign. It would eventually be finished in Vespasian's reign, but I'll give him the credit for all the conquest of Britannia. Eventually, England will be the borders will be extended further a few times. Eventually abandoned by Domitian, but it'll be redid for like about 30 years under Antoninus Pius's reign. Although that Marcus Aurelius would abandon that. But this would be a province that would last until 410, until Honorius abandoned it due to it be conquered by the Picts, the Hibernians, and some of the Franks, and other Germanic tribes such as the Saxons. But this would be an overall province that would last for another 400 years and would be okay for the empire. It wasn't a massive money producer. It was mostly just to conquer for the sake of conquering. Although the Welsh would never be that assimilated. But the English Britannic tribes would be heavily assimilated. And this would be an amazing thing for the Roman Empire. So I'll have to give him a lot of credit for the conquest of Britannia and the things that were happening at the time. He also led in the conquering of many tribes, although he did not personally lead most of the conquests. But was Claudius a good emperor? I think he was a great emperor, one of the best emperors of Rome, bringing stability after Caligula, putting down revolts, conquering Lycia, putting down the revolt in Mauritania, conquering Britain, a province that would last another 400 years. Even emperors such as Trajan or Justinian could not say this about their reigns because their province would be abandoned within 200 years. So this was a really good thing. So overall, I put him at S tier, the highest rank that you can give a Roman emperor, the best emperor since Augustus, and would be the best emperor for another 50 years, another 60 years until Trajan. He was a really good emperor, one of the best emperors of Rome, bringing stability after the crap show of Caligula. And that's the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe.